How to become a change maker. This is a very important conversation because I want people to be inspired to go from recognizing the problem to actually addressing it. This is why I've completed Yale University's creating change in social entrepreneurship specialization, but also sat down with phenomenal, legendary change makers with over 100 years of experience collectively. So please listen to this conversation. It's a longer conversation, but I think it's very, very important. It's a very important conversation, and I wanted to spend today, the day proclaimed by the 61st mayor of Pittsburgh, for me, and honoring the contributions that I've made to my community. I wanted to spend this day offering some sort of value and providing some sort of uplift and inspiration to our culture and community.
Yeah.
How do you fuel your perseverance and get through it?
That's a good question. First, you got to have perseverance, though.
Okay.
Once you get perseverance and you continue in that route, that's all it's going to take. You just got to say, hey, I know it's coming, but we're going to persevere through it, get through it, you've seen all the stuff I've seen in life. I've seen a whole lot. I mean, I've seen it all. I mean, I lost a lot of my friends in the South who just disappeared.
Yeah.
I know some of them were hung.
Yeah.
And otherwise, but I said, you know what? For me, it's all about making sure you live through life, bring your kids up living through life, and push their kids and their grandkids and their kids to get through life, right?
I think that is amazing to highlight because I've just got to tell you, Brother Lawrence, again, for somebody that hasn't lived it, it's hard to conceptualize, but I do value learning from other people, is why I'm sitting here with all of you today.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to highlight that it's a familial responsibility in the family and in the culture. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if you want to answer this question. For me, I'm a millennial. I'm here trying to make change.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation about how to make more change makers. You have so many people that people don't talk to their families.
I don't understand.
So what do you do then?
Yeah.
What do you do then? You have people who are trying to be change makers here. Yeah. And I just want to keep challenging this to prove the point of what you're saying. Yeah. What do you do to the homeless foster care youth that don't have the family?
You just got to keep encouraging. And I know, I understand that is difficult. I always wonder how you guys get through that sometimes. But I say, you know what, you can't stop it. You're going to have something that's going to drop by the wayside, right? They're going to drop out. But you got to see, well, who are the ones I can save, right? Who can I save and how can I save them? And that's what it's always been about for me. I always say, let's focus on getting as many through as we can. Yeah. And the ones who drop out, you're gonna lose them. Just say, hey, that's the way it's gonna be. And you just gotta live with it.
I want to emphasize that because I had a conversation with Bill Strickland.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding is you all are, I don't think y'all know, maybe you do. Let me just say, I don't think y'all know how much experience y'all have that brings you to the acclamation that you're at now.
Yeah. I've had a discussion with Bill too, that same way. Bill's a great guy, but he came through what I came through.
I see because y'all have the same answers. So here's the thing. I asked Bill, it was a conversation about where do we go from here, Martin Luther King's last book.
Yeah.
And I like pointing out that Martin Luther King, he highlighted 4 institutions: the Black church, the Black press, professional Black organizations and fraternities and sororities. They can come together and make a base for Black liberation.
Yeah.
And I asked him, how do you get that together? Is there any thought on how to navigate just people being at odds?
No, there is no thought about solving that. That's impossible. Okay, so that's the first thing. To cooperate is impossible. So I'm not going to take that one on. I got enough to do. I'm 78 years old, and I'm not going to spend whatever days I got left trying to figure that problem out. I'll leave that to you young guys.
Is there any advice for us to do that?
Yeah, start slow. And pick a vision that has some chance of being implemented in reality.
He looked me dead in the face and said, "You don't."
That's right.
It's sad. People that disagree are going to disagree.
Disagree, that's right.
You got to keep on going. And I think I'm at a point now where I have to internalize that because I think now I value project management
Yeah.
And I can see somebody that has a resource and I'm like, hey, the 100 can use you. The bros can use you. But they're not there yet. And I think I have to do more growing just to accept. You got to find another answer.
That's it.
That is tough.
It is tough. It's tough.
These issues are very complicated.
Very.
And, there is no easy solution. If there was, we'd all be doing it.
I read something that says that nobody will truly have wisdom unless they see the world.
Yeah. And by the way, I think that's very true. You really got to get out and see the world, man. I tell you, that opened my eyes up so full. I mean, just unbelievable. I've traveled at least 40 countries. I can remember that, right?
I think that's the answer to, we've been talking about meeting the moment. I think that's the answer to a part of meeting the moment is to experience
absolutely
and get acclimated. There's a quote from wrestling that I like. The guy says, wear your scars like badges.
Hey.
And completing the Yale University specialization in social entrepreneurship, there is a piece in creating social entrepreneurship, where it says that you have to check in with the community to make sure that your perspective is
not
right.
That's right.
You go out and change things based on one perspective, you might end up in the executive branch doing what they're doing now.
And what they're doing now is crazy.
So you have to
I never thought we'd get to this point.
And experience and learn.
So travel is important. It's very important. I think all of it.
Let me ask you here now. Talk about project management, okay? You are a part of a handful of boards, right? Handful of organizations. How do you move all those resources to create, or at the very least, shift the culture back there? We talked about a mindset shift. How do you do a culture shift in this?
A culture shift is just like a mindset shift. You gotta say, where do we want to go from here, right? And then the question is
subtitle MLK's last book.
Right. Then you got to say how do you get there, right? And there's lots of ways to get there. The question is, which is your way to get there, right? And I had many ways to get there, but I always try to encourage people to make this move so we can keep us moving ahead, right? That's all I'm interested in. As long as we're moving forward. And that's been my biggest problem with our race, and since I've been knee-high to a grasshopper, as they call it. Just keep us moving forward, right? My dad always told me that. We just want you to keep growing. Keep growing. Keep learning and keep growing.
Keep living.
Well, keep living. Living comes with it after you learn and learn and grow, right?
Live and learn,
Living comes with it.
So now let's talk about corporate equity. Everybody's not in the streets. Everybody is not the advocate.
No.
Some people are the champion in the boardroom. You have Whitney M. Young. You have that legacy, right?
That's coming up on 20th,
Right. What do you say about people navigating that atmosphere? Like, what advice do you give them having to go through some of the things that John Moon went through, being passed up for promotion?
It's the same advice. I talk to Tim over and over again about this, about getting through corporate, the whole thing about corporate equity and inclusion. We have to keep pushing, make it happen, Nothing's going to be given to you guys. I hope we all understand that. Nothing's given to you. In order to make it happen, because again, the biggest problem we have in this country is our growth, our size, right? We're 13% of the population. That's it, 13%. And that means, and we're different. So you have to make sure you stay on key, right? So we got to persevere and just keep pushing through it. And that's why I talk to Tim all the time and say, hey, what you're doing is the most important thing we could do in this country right now for our Black folks, right?
I facilitate the Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable that deals with the expansion of Black employment and Black entrepreneurship, and co-convene the Greater Pittsburgh Coalition Against Violence that deals with implementing our 142-page document of strategies, trying to lower the violence in the Pittsburgh region. And then, as I said, at the bottom of our document, strategies for change, building more peaceful communities, moving from complaint to possibility, from planning, when we, 300 plus people over a 10-year period, wrote that manual. We were planning. We're trying to implement through our peace summits, where we share with students and sometimes adults the strategies out of the documents and bring them to life? How do you implement?
You have to keep doing it. You know, it's never it never ends. It never ends.
Active.
Yeah.
You have to be the one to create a plan, bring people together
Right.
to make that plan, make sure it's efficient to meet the moment, and then champion it by going into these offices and these C-suites.
You got to keep pushing. That's all. Yep. Yeah. That's why I like John Moon when he did. Right.
Yeah.
John was fantastic. I really enjoyed that a whole lot.
Yeah.
But he persevered.
Yep.
He persevered,
Kept
come strongly through that. I just keep making sure we're moving ahead.
Let me ask you now.
One person at a time.
Let me ask you now. I'm one of those people that I unabashedly do not mind saying that I try to create my own opportunity.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, absolutely. And that's keep that in mind.
So my question now is, for people who don't think that or haven't come to that thought, how do you make it happen? How do you find the opportunity?
You find out where the opportunities are, and you decide which one you want to go after. And that's what I decided about engineering. Right when I left Xavier and got my math and my physics background, I said I'm gonna go into engineering because that's where the big push is now. Right now for us to get through this mess. Right, all that stuff is happening, but you could see what was going on in the country at that time. You say, hey, where do I fall in all of this mess, right? And I just kept saying, I just got to get myself educated so I can learn how to deal with this mess.
That famous part in Hidden Figures, Taraji P. Henson is talking about having to walk a mile
to get the bathroom
and back, and she blows up. And in the movie, it's become an infamous thing. So you had the pleasure to learn under these women.
Yeah.
What did that do for you? And I want to point out that mentorship is a part of becoming a change maker.
Yeah.
So we talked about Sankofa.
Yeah.
Learning from the past to make a better
future. Right.
What did that do for you?
Yeah, that was amazing for me. In fact, that really set me on my road again, because when I look at those ladies and I experienced with them, when I started working at NASA in New Orleans after doing my tenure in Detroit.
Yes.
I spent my summers down working with them in New Orleans, right? And these ladies are all around. I said, you know what? These black ladies are phenomenal. They just knew how to they knew how to do all these calculations. I just sitting there watching them all day. They actually encouraged me more. Okay,
yeah.
So that put my perspective in different view. I said, okay, I should keep doing
some of your surroundings.
Yeah. Oh my God, unbelievable.
So this is also saying you got to pick a good surrounding.
Absolutely.
You want to become a change maker, you're be around change makers.
That's right. You got to make your surroundings what you want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, it's just a thing you either learn to do as you go through life, or you lose it because you didn't get it right. You didn't catch it, and I just seem to catch all those things. I caught everything I could catch as I was going through that development period. And I remember when my manager said, "Hey, Ron, we want you to manage this project in Berlin, Germany, right?" And we put a train system in Berlin, Germany. I said, okay. And then we put one in Munich, Germany. We put one in Frankfurt, Germany. And we put two systems in England. Right? Then another system in Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah.
Then a system in Finland, system in Norway. All those countries. I said, you know what? It's just helping me develop myself as I go forward.
Learning.
It's a learning process for me, right? So I said, okay, I'm learning it all now. Now I can take that forward to the next step. And so I just think that we just need to keep, and I just get so now I won't say messed up now, but I'm just looking at our kids now.
Yeah.
And we've lost so much. And I don't
have to agree. I'm a millennial. I don't have kids.
We just lost so much. I mean, I think it's because we don't instill in our kids though the ability for them to keep moving ahead and to keep learning. Okay. And that bothers me a lot, but I still I just follow what I always do with Tim. I say, hey guys, we got to kind of keep pushing. That's all. You just keep pushing ahead, and hoping the kids are going to pick it up. Some of them pick it up, some of them don't pick it up.
And this is landing to me more because it's like kind of what I said at the beginning of the conversation is you can either be a part of the problem,
I'm part of the solution,
or be a part of the solution.
That's right.
And I had a very strong conversation with somebody about. He was negative about the city because of personal things. I said, but that's not the city.
No.
People work too hard to change things here for you to just take that. Like, I want you to be more careful with the words because this is a public stage, is a public platform. This has so much power now.
Yeah, it sure does.
So
too much power for me.
You have brothers, sisters. Your sister told a story about running behind you and your brothers. Tell me about that social responsibility. How did you show up? How did you keep your friends and family? How did you all hold each other accountable?
You have to work on it. You have to work on everything. I mean, it's just a matter of understanding where you came from to be able to say, this is where I want to go, right? And that's what it's all about. You just have to say, okay, I know I've got to make these friends. I got to keep these relationships going. I want to get to this point. I want to keep pushing ahead. And that's what it's all about. And my sister, she's learned that so much herself. And she, my sister, my brother was the same way. He was fantastic. I was so sad when he passed away at 72 years old in 2015. But we all came up in the same situation with our mother and father, and they just instilled in us so much positivity. I mean, they were so positive. It was crazy. And it's hard to be positive in an environment like that.
That is it. And I've been saying, people, we don't lean towards positivity. The sunflowers, they point wherever the sun goes. Yeah. We don't do that no more. No. I think I'm starting to notice it, and even I'm getting concerned, but I never have went through this as a millennial. So now I'm looking at my friends, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure sometimes what to say or how to go. And even in social media, you'll see a story and it'll be somebody with a bad past 1 billion years ago, and people won't let them pass it. And I'm not saying we have to, just forgive everybody. That's a personal thing. But where do we in our culture, because we're talking about making change, where do we stick up for one another? Where is that protection with association? Where does that happen? Because we have individuals that denigrate the culture more than others outside of the culture.
Yeah, that's what got me about Chappelle. He went back to that thing, right?
Yeah.
And because it's making him money. And I was sad to see that. He couldn't find another outlet to go to. And he went back to that. And I said, no, that's kind of sad. But he does good with it. But at the same time, he's denigrating our community, right? And I don't like that. I hate anybody who uses that word.
Same. I'm actually probably the only one.
I don't use it. I don't use it in my general speech at all. I don't know, because I heard it so much growing up, and it's not really what we're about, right?
Right.
We don't.
And I also don't
can learn like everybody else.
People get it because. And I get to say this now because now I have a reason. There was a quote that said, when you study psychology, you see everything is that deep.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand just saying these things oh, well, we changed the meaning of it. But here's the thing, that word still psychologically destroyed people that came before you, and you still have their DNA in their blood, and we found out that trauma is hereditary.
By the way, trauma is hereditary. Yes. It is hereditary, but you can grow out of it, right?
Absolutely.
You can grow out of trauma, but you gotta push at it. You gotta keep fighting it. Yeah, you gotta keep fighting it. I just saw some friends today who were in Dubai, right, when this war broke out. And they came back. They're coming back to U.S. now. Yeah. And I said, now, why are they doing that? And the guy said, okay, because I want to take care of my family. I said, okay, now I understand that, right? But so you gotta put the right things in the right place for me. And having the right things in the right place is keep pushing. We gotta keep pushing ahead. And that's the thing I try to tell the kids in our program. We run into these stumbling blocks every now and then. You say, okay, that's a stumbling block. You just keep pushing through it. You just got to keep moving ahead. And we're going to have that, guys. I mean, you look at what we've went through, guys. Do you know we spent 400 years going through this crap in total? In total. And I'm saying, wait a minute. After 400 years, you're going to have a little trauma in your life, right? Yeah. I mean, we got plenty of trauma. Yeah. There's trauma everywhere. And I even had trauma in my life growing up. But I said, you know what? You got to push through it. Now, it's not easy to do.
It's very easy.
It's not easy. No, it's not easy to do. And I understand that. I totally understand that. And I just say, but you know what? You just got to keep pushing on it. That's all. And so I that's what I do every day is keep working on how we're going to get to the next step and keep moving ahead, right? Because you can always say I can give up and let it go, right? But you saw John Moon. Yeah. He didn't give up. Look at that. That guy was phenomenal. I mean, my God.
You never know where you're going or how the cards are going to fall.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of that.
Exactly.
And you just keep Putting the best foot forward.
That's right.
Keep showing up.
That's all you can do. Keep showing up.
Yeah.
You got to keep showing up, man. And that's something you got to remember. If you don't show up, then who's gonna show up, right? If you don't show up, who's gonna show up? Well, you hope somebody's gonna show up, but no, that's not good enough. You got to keep pushing yourself. You got to keep
That's
moving
something else
ahead.
I say about our local atmosphere. I say, this is a place where you have to go outside. It's not going to come to you.
That's right.
It's just not.
Yeah, not going to come to you.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate for us. We have so many stumbling blocks out there.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem, and that's what I liked about Dayu Akbar when he was alive here in Pittsburgh. Yes. He used to always talk about this whole thing about trauma, right? And how it's affected our community.
Right.
And I realized when he said that, he was right on cue. Mm-hmm. We have a big problem, a huge problem, because that trauma has been carried forward since those 400 years, man. Yes. It just kept going.
And it just seems like it's a snowball. But we can only be human.
Yeah.
We're going to get tired.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get tired.
You get tired, get knocked down, get back up.
Yeah.
That's all. Get back up and keep moving. Keep pushing ahead.
Brother Lawrence.
Yeah.
Conversations about how to become a change maker. Everything you've just said, what is one final thing that you would advise somebody on how to accomplish this and get involved?
How to become a change maker? Well, you got to have courage first of all. Courage and persistence, guys. Those are two things you got to have. Courage and persistence, and unfortunately, or fortunately, because fortunately, I had people behind me who were pushing that. Right?
Yes.
They pushed the encouragement. They pushed the persistence, and that's what helped me push it, get along with it. But the folks who don't have that, I don't know how you grab it. You're gonna have to just tell yourself, though, I got to do something different to make it through life. Because it's difficult. I can tell you, it's difficult. We got so much trauma we're still dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, trauma is still there. It's crazy. But we just got to see, do I have enough persistence behind me, enough courage behind me to keep pushing this thing forward?
I saw a young man beat Noah Lyles, Olympic track star, gold medal winner. And this young man beat him. He's not an Olympian or anything as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great because Noah has pushed to make track attractive.
Yeah.
Like football, or at least that's his goal.
Yeah.
This young man beat him, and I'm like, okay, competition, and this young man beat an Olympian.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I looked at the comments, they couldn't help but to talk about how he looked, not his accomplishment.
Yeah.
And people like Dr. Brown would tell me, why do you look at the comments? But I just can't help it. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, we cannot help but to denigrate each other.
Yeah. It happens so much, doesn't it?
It's
and you know what? I just ignore all that stuff because I look at what we've gone through and where we came from. And I say, you know what? That's the baseline we got to start from, right? And move from that. But if you look at what you've gone through, you're gonna say, hey, you're gonna have that. That's just part of life. It's part of life.
It's the yin and yang.
You guys, right? You gotta move beyond it.
Balance.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brother Lawrence.
Hey, I enjoyed it.
I appreciate this conversation.
Same
I hope
here.
somebody who's inspired to become a change maker has enjoyed this. Thank you for coming, sir.
No problem.
So I'm now sitting here with Mr. John Moon, one of the originators for the entire EMS, emergency medical service system, in the entire country, as we sit here in the historic Hill District where Freedom House was created. Mr. Moon, how are you?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks very much for inviting me. It's an honor and a privilege just to be here with you.
Absolutely. And we were having so much conversation before the camera cut on that I know this will be valuable. Number one, I want to say that this conversation is about how to become a change maker. And as we have your poster here, we have the Freedom House class here. You have one of two beautiful Emmys sitting right there in the Hill District. How many times does an Emmy sit casually? And that's also why this city is great. Going through the systemic racism, and I want to be clear, the systemic racism, how is it that you and your cohort made change? Like, how did you get through that? Did you know what I'm probably asking a lot of questions now, but it's just so much that we can get from you.
Well, in order to kind of get a clear understanding, we have to kind of go back in time, in history, to somewhere between 65, 67, here in the Hill District. I grew up here, and the community itself was somewhat neglected and underserved during that time. And there was a variety of different problems. Housing was a problem. Jobs were a problem. Medical care was a problem. You couldn't get a cab to come into this community. So you had residents that couldn't make it back and forth to doctor's appointments. And during that time, the federal government was trying to offset the problems of racism and poverty. And so they started funneling money into different cities across the country to offset poverty. And Pittsburgh was one of the recipients of a small amount of money, and out of that was created Freedom House Enterprise Incorporated by a gentleman by the name of James McCoy. He was a community activist himself. So he, in turn, set up Freedom House Enterprise Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization. And the interesting thing about it is it was built in a storefront. And in this office complex was voter registration, job training, even job placement. There was even a mini food bank in this.
Addressing disparities.
Yes, and it had a board of directors like a lot of nonprofit organizations do. Some were attorneys, some for different foundations and things like that. And one of the board of directors of Freedom House's enterprise was a gentleman by the name of Phil Hallen. And he was at that time president of the Falk Medical Fund. So his foundation also gave grants to Freedom House, the nonprofit organization. And he came up with this vision. And the vision was, if this organization can deliver food to the residents of this underserved community, why can't they deliver medical care? So if we're back in that particular time, back in the 60s, the primary transportation to the emergency room was in the back of a police wagon.
Not an ambulance, not a bus.
No.
None of it.
No. And that was throughout the country. And police were the primary transportation to the emergency rooms. It was either that or a hearse. So you have a conflict of interest there.
And I'm sure you don't want to be in a hearse that early.
No, you don't. And so there was no 911 system at that time. So we had to this community had to rely on the police to get you back and forth to the emergency room. The problem with that is during that time, the community had what I would call an adversarial relationship with the police.
Absolutely.
The police didn't care for the community, and the community didn't trust law enforcement. The primary transport during that time was in the back of a police wagon. So very few people, including yourself, believe it or not, could imagine a police wagon coming up to your residence, two white officers getting out, and because there was no such thing as diversity, equity, and inclusion during that time frame, and they're escorting you to the back of this wagon and placing you in the back of it, and you were placed supine, lying down on the canvas cot, which was roughly about 2 inches off the floor. And both officers, in turn, they closed the door, and they got up front, and away you went to the emergency room
with your ailment, broken arm, contusions, whatever it is.
Yes,
you're put in the back of this car. No pre-hospital treatment.
No.
You're going to where you're going.
Right, and
the black neighborhood, which is systematically further from the hospital.
Yes, at that particular time, that was not really that much of a problem because they had red lights and sirens on the vehicle, and they could rush you down. The problem being is you're in the back of this vehicle, and no one's back there with you. So if your heart stopped beating, or you stopped breathing, there was no one back there to help you. So oftentimes you arrived at the emergency room worse off than when they came together. What was to be the pre-hospital care treatment that you have today. And it's interesting because that wasn't our goal. We weren't attempting to create a system that had never existed before or to set standards. Our primary concern is we were living in the moment.
Yeah.
We were providing pre-hospital care to this underserved, neglected community, and we were content with that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we got so accustomed to all these different challenges that it became the norm.
What are some of these challenges? And I want to share that I watched the interview with Andrew Young.
Yes.
And he talked about getting the letter from a Birmingham jail out of the Birmingham jail. And he said that in that time frame, things worked because everybody did their part.
Yes.
You all are doing your part and you were content with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting because we often had clashes with law enforcement because they looked at us as a threat to their survival or job
security
threat or whatever the case is. So there were times when we would show up at the scene, say, of an automobile accident, and the police had gotten there first. And next thing you know, they were dragging the patient out, and the car is bent, and the steering wheel is collapsed, and things, and they're pulling the person out. And here is this highly sophisticated individual.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, hold it. What are you doing? So I got cussed out and threatened by police officers during those times because I was challenging them on their treatment. Most of that, we also discovered, now we were reserved for the Hill District.
Yeah.
We discovered that there were calls that the police were taking that we should have gotten.
In the black neighborhood.
Yes. And once we discovered that, we had to come up with a way to offset it. So we went out and bought a police scanner.
Innovation.
Yes. And we monitored police radio.
And in Tim's point, you see the problem, what can we do about it?
Yes, come up
Action.
with a solution for it.
Yeah.
So we monitored police radio, and whenever a call came in this community that we should have gotten, we self-dispatched. And oftentimes beat the police there, treated the patient, transported them to the emergency room, and passed the police on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they're still going to the person's home. Yeah, that became the norm. So I was able to change the mindset, challenge Pittsburgh EMS on its treatment of African Americans. And I also challenged the department on the equipment it had. And I was able to get the handcuffs taken off the vehicles, the flashlights removed. And we know who John Moon is now. So I started getting promoted because I became outspoken.
Yeah.
And I started getting promoted. And what I noticed as I'm going up the ranks, unfortunately, Pittsburgh Emergency Medical Services wasn't hiring anyone to look like me. The department went 10 years without hiring an African American. So that was another challenge. I challenged the department on its hiring process.
And I want to point out here that you are in the ring for the fight.
Absolutely.
Making the changes.
Yes.
One step at a time, getting the handcuffs off, challenging their hiring practices. So once again, I just can't help but to hear that you have to be involved. You have to get in the ring with the problem if you want to win the fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting because I became the outspoken advocate of a lot of these issues. So I challenged Pittsburgh EMS on its hiring process. Okay, that's your problem.
Yeah.
You have to come up with a solution. So I designed the very first diversity recruitment program in the history of Pittsburgh EMS, if not the city of Pittsburgh, where I used the same format that they used at Freedom House. I went out into the community and recruited people that didn't know what a paramedic was, had never seen one, never talked to one, and placed them into a training program, got the department to pay them while they were going through training because it was similar to a job. And once they completed the training, got the department to hold job vacancies open. So it would be just a lateral movement from your training program into hiring at City of Pittsburgh.
I'm also hearing a phrase that you are lifting as you climb here. Not only are you moving forward, but you're making sure that it's not in vain. So there's a succession planning deal here where we'll get to your legacy in a moment. But you're thinking ahead even before you get to, but you're thinking about this as you step forward.
Yes, yeah, and that's interesting that you said that, because I'm focused on fairness.
Yeah.
During that time, and it was a time of reckoning for me, because I had to accept the fact that no matter what I did, how good I was, what I designed and created, I was never going to be promoted up to the ranks to eventually run the department, because it was designed to prevent that from ever happening.
Yes.
The second thing I had to come to a reckoning with was that wasn't why I was there. I wasn't there to rise up through the ranks and run Pittsburgh EMS. My job was to open doors and break down hurdles and barriers that when people that looked like me came after me, they would have an opportunity that I didn't have.
Right. So the work was done.
Yes.
Because that is what you were called for.
Yes.
You stayed focused.
Yes.
And I think that's interesting. Let me ask you, when did you realize it? Is that immediately after leaving, over the years of reflection? Because some people truck on and they just feel like they're not being impactful. But I always say you never know what you do for people.
And that's true. That's a great point, because I would say it took me roughly about 4, maybe 5 years to recognize that. And in order for that to happen, my reckoning is somewhat unique, because I think it was already ordained.
Yes.
Yes, it was already ordained. And that's why I can say that wasn't why it was there.
Yes.
5 years after I had left, the city of Pittsburgh elects its first African-American mayor, Mayor Gainey.
Yes.
He's someone that I had worked with during my diversity, because he had worked under the Ravensthal administration,
Yes.
Community activist or something. And so he knew firsthand the challenges that I had dealt with
Yes.
during my tenure at Pittsburgh EMS with my diversity recruitment program.
Which he also faced.
Yes.
In office.
Yes. So he gets elected mayor. Mayors put their own people in where they want them and things like that. So he looks at Pittsburgh EMS, and for almost 50 years, Pittsburgh EMS had always been run by a white mayor, despite the fact that this is the foundation of it.
Yes.
He looks at Pittsburgh EMS and he sees a African American there, and he tells the present chief, who was a white male, "We're going in a different direction. I suggest you retire." So he had been there about 40 years and things
Before
like
we even get to the finale, because I know where this story is.
Yes.
I keep want to point out what's going on here, because again, the conversation is how to become a change maker. You are post active in your job. You're in retirement.
Yes.
So now you are collaborating with the 61st mayor, first African American mayor of the city.
Yes.
And in this conversation, in this collaboration, you are making change because you've built this relationship. You are in the room. And when we get to the end of this part of the story here, we see more equity,
Yes.
more equality.
Yes. So, he knew the hurdles because he was part of what they call Diversity 365 at that time. So, I'm riding off into the sunset. I've accepted the fact that my life at Pittsburgh EMS had already been ordained, and I'm fine. So he comes in and he looks at the department and, wants to make a change.
Yeah.
And he finds an African American that was serving as the deputy chief at that particular time. And he encourages the present chief to go off into retirement. And he appoints the very first African American chief in the 50-year history of Pittsburgh EMS. And it's an African American female.
And that is a great segue to introduce her here, because we now have sitting here these artifacts that was presented to Mr. Moon by the same mayor, 61st mayor of the city. And this artifact here is that moment captured.
Yes. And this is the very first African American chief in the 50-year history of Pittsburgh EMS, Amira Gilchrist.
Half a century.
Yes. 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 And the irony of that is that she was someone that I personally hired during my diversity recruitment program. So even though I'm no longer there,
Yeah.
my legacy still lives through her.
And once again, this is such a great story, and I love this because this is the precedence that not only our community and culture has set, the Hill District has set. I grew up with my address, my mother's phone number, my grandparents' phone number, and 911 in my backpack just in case I needed help. And I just never experienced and or fathomed not having this luxury that we have that once again came out of the historic Hill District.
Absolutely.
And please hold that up because that is amazing. Again, in the Hill District, and Emmy
Yes.
is sitting right here.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Moore. I
Thank you for the
appreciate
opportunity.
this
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.